the cheating scandal that has embroiled Major League Baseball and the Boston Red Sox in particular appeared to explode out of nowhere this week. But hints that this was coming first broke in the fall, raising the question, why was the Boston media caught off guard? Last week, Alex Cora was the beloved manager of the Boston Red Sox. Then, Tuesday's bombshell.
Shocked, absolutely shocked.
Breaking tonight, Alex Cora is out.
The reason Major League Baseball found Cora played a major role in a sign-stealing scheme as part of the 2017 Houston Astros. And worse.
The league is currently investigating a similar scandal during the Red Sox World Series run under Cora.
Really strong reaction from Red Sox fans tonight, most of them stunned.
But should we be stunned? Back in November, the Athletic website first reported Houston's sign-stealing scheme. Cora wasn't named specifically, but it did prompt questions.
Last month, Cora faced questions at the league's winter meetings.
Out of respect of the investigation that MLB has and the Astros, I'm not going to answer the question.
Still, the story largely stayed under the radar until this week. Jen McCaffrey of The Athletic tells WGBH News that the arcane rules of baseball may be why the media was slow to the story.
So sign stealing in baseball is legal. What the problem was, they were using electronic equipment, and that's illegal. Maybe we should have, been more in tune to this and looked deeper into it before The Athletic broke the story.
But now local newsrooms are fully engaged, and they're raising a second question.
And Steve, for a lot of people, this really tarnishes that last World Series win.
So is Boston a city of cheats? Maybe some dogged reporting will help answer that. So let's give credit where credit is due, and that's to The Athletic, who had 2 stories about this before anybody touched it at all. And I'm wondering, Dan, you follow baseball pretty closely. It's like, I heard there was an MLB investigation. I had no idea the scope of it. I certainly ended up sign stealing, which is legal. So, why did this kind of sneak up? How come we didn't break the story? How come Dan Shaughnessy? What happened?
I'm not sure that this snuck up on us. I felt like I've been aware of it since last fall, and a lot of us were wondering where it was going. Keep in mind that to this point, this has been mainly a Houston story and what Alex Cora did in Houston. We're still waiting to see what sort of a bombshell might go off about the Red Sox, but as recently as even after Alex Cora left, Sam Kennedy of the Red Sox is claiming that, the Red Sox championship is not tainted. Well, we don't know the details of that yet. It could very well be that it's very tainted. We just don't know.
But usually stuff leaks out is what I'm getting at. The scope of something, you have an inkling that it involves electronic spying. We didn't know that.
We didn't, but the Houston part of this is a huge story, and none of that really leaked out until Major League Baseball put out their report.
I wonder, that first of all, I think the notion that it's a complicated story and it's hard to kind of wrap your head around it. We often hear that, but then when the story breaks, everyone covers it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, yeah.
So what happened to that complicated story? It's pretty easy now for you to report it. I think, there's a deeper problem that often, I'm not saying it necessarily applies here, but I think there's a deeper problem that we've all discussed in the past around sports reporters and the relationship that they have with teams. And it does require you to have a friendlier relationship, perhaps, than just straight news reporters have to have with their sources, because it leads to access, right? You get certain access if you're reporting certain kinds of stories. And we know there's a lot of blowback from the sports organizations if you do dig into stories, if you do go after them. And so perhaps that's at play here. You just don't know, because there's still a lot, that's coming out on this.
I would love to see the Globe, because they'd be the obvious outlet, hire a sports reporter whose sole mandate was, we want you to dig into the seamy side of big-time sports and ferret out as much bad stuff as you can find. The problem, obviously, for the Globe is that the owner of the Globe happens to own the Red Sox. But I think that'd be great. It's something that it's a real need nationally. It's not a need that has been filled, generally speaking. Another point worth mentioning is that The Athletic, which went on this spree in the last couple of years, hiring all these big-name sports reporters from all sorts of outlets, is behind a paywall. And when I read a lot more about professional basketball than baseball, I still have not signed up for a subscription, even though I know they have excellent journalists who do really good work. So I think that's part of it, too.
I have to say I think that there's a couple of cultural things going on here. One is the focus, as you said, was on Houston. And so the Red Sox are feeling like that ain't us. And I also think, we got a big thing here. I'm saying the city, not me, because I feel differently about it. we don't cheat. We're big enough. We don't. That's not us. So the fact that I didn't even think I knew that Alex Cora was as intricately involved in the Houston thing until this thing broke.
I don't think any of us did.
So I'm just saying, but you knew he was a part of the team.
Yes.
So to be thinking, if you had early information, something's going on there, and he came from there to the Red Sox, it might be a lead that somebody would follow. I just wouldn't normally think that. It just feels to me like we're bigger than that. We're better than that. This is the Red Sox.
What's encouraging about all of this is we've talked a lot about how our industry is shrinking and investigative reporters aren't in the big publications and so forth. Well, yes, it has shrunk, but now you have all these other outlets, these niche, exactly, and they are hiring people and they have the time to dig into these stories. A lot of these big stories in sports and elsewhere are being broken by these smaller, online news organizations. And I think that's a positive in light of how the landscape has been in this industry.
And I think it's crucial because if you look at ESPN was going hard at investigative sports reporting a little while back, and they've pulled away from that. They have an inherent conflict too, right? They distribute the product, which then some of their reporters were covering critically. So it's going to be the niche outlets that are going to do this kind of
I just want to interject that given John Henry's ownership of the Globe and the Red Sox, it would be a really good thing for the Globe if they break some significant aspect of the Red Sox part
Maybe
of this
they will.
story.
You're right. Well,
and maybe they will.
And let me just follow up with the local aspect of that and say there are other smaller, kind of mom and pop sports things going on here in Boston. They could have done it too.
That's true.